Shalom, Akim. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Double honors to our elders and apostles who rule Great Millstone well. And shalom to all you Akim pushing this truth with sincerity throughout this whole earth. May you brothers endure until the end. Shalom. I'm going to bring out Galatians, Galatians 5, chapter 5, verse 19. It says, "Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in the time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of power." So I wanted to break these down to get a deeper understanding of what is going to prevent us from inheriting that kingdom of power, okay, the kingdom of heaven. Adultery is the first one. It's sex with a married woman. Either that a man has sex with a betrothed woman, which means she's engaged, already promised to another man, or she's married with another man, and another man has sex with that man's wife. That's adultery. A woman that has sex with a man while she's married is adultery or engaged. Okay? A man is allowed to have multiple wives. A woman is not allowed to have multiple partners. That is an abomination. That is a sin unto death. And a man sleeping with a woman that is in a marriage, that's a sin unto death. They're both to be put to death. Fornication. The word fornication goes back to the Greek word porneia, which is porn and unlawful sex, such as homosexuality, bestiality, incest, in that area. Porn is a sin too. It's unlawful. And that's watching it or even partaking in it. Uncleanness. A best way to explain that is how a coffin is unclean. Would you want to sleep in one? In your right mind, you wouldn't, because it's unclean, right? It might look nice, but it's unclean. Just like a dead body is unclean. Your woman, when she's on her period, is unclean. There's unclean foods, all right? So uncleanness, if you know it's unclean and you still partake in it, that is a sin. Like the good one is the dead bodies. We are not supposed to be touching dead bodies. Okay, honestly, you're not even supposed to be in the same roof as a dead body. There's scripture that says if it's your brother, your mother, your father, your sister that is a virgin, you're able to go and do the funeral for them. But otherwise than that, you're not supposed to defile yourself by being around that dead body or even under the same roof as that dead body. You're touching your wife while she's on her period. You're to avoid that. In fact, you're supposed to not even sleep in the same bed as she is. Okay? Honestly, she's supposed to be sitting on a separate chair than everybody else. She's not supposed to be cooking while she's on her period. Okay? There's uncleanness laws. All right? There's laws throughout this whole Bible about uncleanness. All right? Lasciviousness, which is unrestrained lust. And that's built up also from that porn. Porn will actually create that where you first start watching one thing, then it'll lead into another. Movies. That's why they put those little soft porn scenes in there to get your mind going. Not just you, but the woman that watches that movie. Your wife watches a movie with you. She sees a love scene in there. She's not thinking about you. She's thinking about that man or another man she thought was good looking. And that's Satan's doing right there. All right? So that's why you're supposed to cast your imagination down. Okay? Unrestrained lust will take you out of the kingdom. Okay? You will not inherit the kingdom of power. Okay? Adultery you won't inherit the kingdom of power. Fornication won't allow you in the kingdom of power. Uncleanness won't allow you in the kingdom of power. Lasciviousness, unrestrained lust will not allow you in the kingdom of power. Idolatry, image worship. And now this is image meaning you worship an image, including others. Like, you know how they got American Idol, or they used to. I don't know if they still do. I don't watch that shit. But worshiping other men or women or things like that, or even trying to get other people to worship you. That's why men want to parade themselves or parade their wives, because they want to be worshipped by men and women. Women too. Women do the same thing. That's why they strut their breast out. They got their ass out. They're showing their figure. They're showing their body. Or they like to show the wealth that their husband have. That is idolatry. That includes worshiping statues and other gods. But when you want to be worshipped as a god, that is also idolatry. It's image worship, and that could be your own image. Witchcraft. Witchcraft goes back to the Greek word pharmakia, which where you get the word pharmacy. Pharmaceutical drugs is witchcraft. Hatred is just being a devil amongst your brothers, amongst your people even. You know, hating another. Jake hates Jake. Black on black crime, so called. You know, Mexican cartel drug. You know how a lot of the Mexicans are caught up in drug. Northern Kingdom, they're caught up in drugs. They killing each other over gangs and drugs. Southern Kingdom's caught up in drugs and that committing adultery on your brother with his wife. That's hatred. Variance. That's another one. That's being a devil. That's straight up being just like the white man, the so-called white man who is the devil. You are like literally just stirring up trouble. That's what it is, stirring up trouble. You hate each other. You rob each other. Everything you could do to go against your brother or your people, you do. Emulations, which is jealousy and envy. And that's, see, all these actually, when you start to look at this whole picture, you could actually identify these people that are exactly like this. Jealousy and envy. Like you see another man's wife. You're jealous of that man for having that wife, that car, that job. You're jealous of your friend for her husband, but you hate your husband. That's emulations. That it will keep you out of the kingdom of power, out of the kingdom of heaven. Wrath, which is raging trouble, where you like these people that get real hot in the cars. Like the other day here in Denver, they had a dude honked at another. He was a Jake. I don't know if the one he shot, the one that honked. But he got out at the next light and blew the dude's brain out at the next light. And it was because he honked at him for the red light or the green light. It turned green, he honked. They moved to the next light. It was red. Dude got out and blew the dude's brain up. That is wrath. It is rage. Uncontrollable rage. You don't want that. That will end you up in a death sentence, prison, or even in an unmarked grave. Because there's people that will kill you for dealing with that. Just like that Jake did here in Denver. Blew the dude's brain out. Daylight, right in the middle of the street of downtown Denver. They don't care. But you're not to be raging. That will keep you out of the kingdom of power. Now, we get loud out there on the street. And that's because we're ordered to, by the commandments of Yahweh Hashem, Yahushai, to cry aloud and to spare not. Don't spare nobody's emotions. Because literally, we are trying to wake up the freaking walking dead. Okay, and if you're trying to, if somebody was out on the street and a little kid was about to get hit by a car, you would be like, watch out. No, you'd be like, watch out. You know, it would be intense because you'd try to get that attention because it's very serious. So raging and what we do out there in the street is not the same thing because we're not out there to get carnal, right? Strife is bitter. Bitter means you think you've been treated unfairly. Which does happen in the camps, where other men, they come in and they feel like they're the head leader and, they want to do this and do that and go against the camp and do things like that. That happens. And that's strife. You're stirring up strife. You're literally being like a devil. Gossiping, that's stirring up strife. Mind your own business, like they say, whatever is between a man and his wife, that's their business. That you shouldn't even be dealing with that shit. Don't even care about that dude's wife. Don't ask about her. Don't talk about her. Especially if you find yourself attracted to that, don't even look at the woman because that is adultery. Lusting, unrestrained lust, it will keep you out of the kingdom of heaven. Anything. Lusting is not just sex either. It could lust over a man's looks, a woman's looks, a woman's dress, her body, his body. I mean, it could go into anything. The food they eat. You could lust after the food they have. If you're not eating as well, you're on a ramen noodle diet, but the other brother got a little more money and they're able to eat a little fatter. You desire that. That's a form of lust. That's a form of coveting. And that goes back to Exodus 20, where you're not supposed to covet your neighbor's goods. Seditions, meaning division. That's a straight up devil. That's one that starts to put little bitterness between each other. You say, oh man, you start gossiping. Oh, do you know this brother's doing this? Oh, you start just trying to create a division in the whole camp. Okay? And this ain't just even in the camp. You could be doing this amongst your own people at your own home. You see what I'm saying? Because this even happens because I've been married, and this also happens with in-laws. You know, your in-laws start talking shit about you. Next thing you know, your wife's packed up and out the fucking door. That's a devil. Seditions, making division. Heresies, making up your own rules is what that literally goes back to. A heresy. That's like these camps, like not camps. Freemasons, excuse me. Freemasons. That's a heresies. They pretty much make up their own rules. The Jewish are heresies. Because they don't go by the commandments. If you actually start to look at the commandments and the way they live, it's completely opposite. In fact, I was starting to when I first started learning the truth, I was actually heading towards that direction, thinking that was the truth. And literally, the more and more I learned the truth, that they are far from what the truth is. They actually go through the Kabbalah, which is witchcraft. You know, they do all these other things. They take like there's a not the Talmud. Is it the Talmud? I think it is the Talmud. They have multiple writings from their rabbis and Pharisees and all them, where there's even writings where they believe they could have sex with 8-year-old boys. Men can. That's a heresies. Unions are heresies. Pretty much making up your own rules as you go along is a heresy. Envying, that's debates. And the debate is ill will. Meaning the only reason why you're trying to debate the truth, if it's fact, like it's law, the law says a man shall not lie with a mankind like a womankind, that is a law. You cannot debate with that. You cannot bend that. You cannot water it down. There is nothing you could do with that. And if you try, you are an ill-willed person and you will not inherit the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of power. Murder, and that goes to worthless slaughter. It ain't self-defense of any sort. Literally, you're either murdering out of your own joy and pleasure or to get yourself ahead in your own benefit. That is murder. Self-defense or in defense of others. Okay? Self-defense is to protect yourself and your family. But also, like Abraham, when they kidnapped Lot, the whole city of Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot, he went over there with 300 men to revenge him and to get him back out of that captivity, which he did under Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. But there is murder and there is righteous killing. Drunkenness, that it goes back to being pretty much an alcoholic, where you are drinking from sunup to sundown, and there, you're always intoxicated. You lose jobs over it because you're intoxicated, and I mean, there's many ways to point it out, but that will keep you out of the kingdom of heaven. Revelings, meaning rioting. Another word for it is carousel, a drunken fest. So you know how a carousel goes around in circles and it makes a lot of noise going up and down. It's very colorful. That is what revelings is. Christmas is a drunken festival. Easter is a drunken festival. Birthdays are drunken festivals. And rioting, loud, obnoxious things. It's just a loud obnoxiousness. That's what revelings are. A drunken fest. Oktoberfest. Halloween, how many people go to Halloween parties, get all fucked up, probably commit adultery, maybe homosexuality? So those are the things that will keep you out of the kingdom of heaven. I'm going to read that again now that we got an understanding of what these words mean. For the Salakia, this is Galatians 5:19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness. So adultery, sleeping with a married woman or a married woman sleeping around. Fornication, and that also goes back to engaged. If a woman is already promised to another man, you're not to touch her. Fornication, porn, homosexuality, bestiality, incest, uncleanness. Uncleanness is sleeping with your wife on her period, eating unclean foods, touching dead bodies, different things like that. Touching unclean animals. There is unclean animals we're not even supposed to touch or even have as pets. Lasciviousness, which is unrestrained lust. Idolatry. Idol worship could either be statue, people, or even yourself, where you want to be worshipped as a god. Witchcraft, which goes back to pharmakia, which is pharmaceutical drugs. Hatred, which is just hatred amongst the brothers. Variance, being a devil amongst the brothers. Emulations. Let me get that emulations again. I believe I'm saying that right. Emulations means jealousy and envy. You're not supposed to be jealous or want anything another brother has. Wrath, meaning raging, anger. Strife. Strife is let me see. Better, meaning you feel like you feel like you've been mistreated or unfairly treated. Seditions, division. So you're creating division in the camps or amongst the brothers. Heresies, where you're adding your own laws to the law. Envyings, which is a debates of ill will. So where you try to buck up against the Bible, which a lot of the 2/3 do, they try to say that Esau, all the Edomites will be saved because of the New Testament. That's an ill will person. Or women, that women have equal rights to men. That's an ill will person, which that's a big one right there. A lot of women and men buck up against the scriptures, trying to express that women have a role in leadership over men, or they have something to teach men. Murderers, that's a worthless killing, to benefit yourself or benefit others in a vain way. Drunkenness, meaning an alcoholic, pretty much. Revelings, which is rioting or drunken fest. And it says, and such like of the which I tell you before. So the things just like these things, because if you look at these, there are certain people that are just like this, and they're through all these. You know, I mean, I deal with some of these on my own every day. You know, there's days that I'm lustful. There's days I'm wrathful. I'm raging. I just wish somebody would, so I could fucking break their head open. Bitter. I'm bitter sometimes. Murder. There's times I thought, think, I hate, Alcoholic. I've been an alcoholic. You know, there's days I overdrink. Drunken fest. I really don't get involved in those. There's certain ones that I myself personally have been able to avoid, such as making heresies. Honestly, that's something I don't have. I figure in the spirit, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the water, that in my mind, what the law is law. What it is, it is. But there's some people that struggle with that. And also the 2/3 that come up against the camps trying to buck up against that. But I've struggled with alcohol. I've struggled with raging anger, bitterness, division. I really don't. I don't think that really falls on me, because honestly, I love the brothers. I've never really had a strife with the brothers to even honestly to say anything like that. But I'm sure that is out there, and if not, if maybe I haven't experienced it, and Lord's will, I won't. But you never know what the Lord may put on your table. But whatever He does, He does not give you to where you cannot handle. He gives you an escape. Adultery, messing with married women. I've had that issue, especially when I was in the world. Not so much now. Porn. Fornication, that's something I deal with on a regular basis, especially now that right now that I am alone. So I mean, these are things that we deal with every day. These are not something that, oh, I don't have to worry about those. I'm not involved in uncleanness. Uncleanness is a very easy one to deal with, because every man, if you got women in your family, including sisters, daughters, mothers, wives, and they're doing things, touching things, that has become unclean. If you're sleeping in the same bed as your wife while she's on her period, that's uncleanness. That will stop you from getting in the kingdom of heaven. Now, yes, our salvation is through Hamashiach. That's in 2 Peter's. Let me get that real quick. Because I'm not trying to play down Yahushua. I'm just bringing out what the scripture says. And right here in 21, it says, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings. This is Galatians 5:21. Envyings, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do some things shall not inherit the kingdom of power. It's saying you shall not inherit it. Meaning on this first time around. Was it Peter, I believe. But right here, I'm bringing out this script just for, edification. So that I have it. All right, here we go. So 2 Peter 3, verse 15. We'll go 14. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 14. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent. Diligent means all the time, always working towards it. That ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. And that means without sin upon you. Do your best not to sin. Yes, we all come short, but you have your part to do. I ain't trying to brag or boast, but honestly, there are certain things that as you learn, you're able to keep, like growing the beard. Now, all brothers cannot grow a beard. That's not the law. The law is not to shave your beard with a razor, not to bald yourself, not to bald your head, not to line your head up, not to be effeminate. Those are things that you can literally right now, without money, start to carry out. Okay? Even the clothing. Like these shirts, they sell them at Walmart, and they're 100% cotton. My shoes, my socks, the only thing I have on me right now that is mixed is my shoes. But I just heard the other day from a scoffer that they actually have 100% cotton-made shoes, or whatever the fabric may be. But that is something that you literally, it just depends on how much zeal for the Lord you got, for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua you got. I mean, if you think growing a beard's enough, then, that's up to you if you're going to risk that, But Yahushua is our salvation. But we have a part to play. All right? We are supposed to be keeping these commandments to the best of our abilities. And it says here, 15, and account that the long suffering of our King is salvation. So the suffering of Yahushua is our salvation. Even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrest, as they do also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. Because that's what Christians do. They get the writing of Paul and thinking that he's saying, shall we commit sin? No. That's in Romans. Right here. This is Romans right here, 7, and we'll go 2. Yeah, we'll go 5. Romans 7, 5. And this is an example of what Peter was just talking about. For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sin which were by the law did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit, and not in the oldness of the letter. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Yahweh forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. All right? I mean, you're supposed to keep the law. Paul never said the law was done away with. Okay? There it is, 22. But that's why people trip up on it. That's why Christians, you hear Christians talk about Paul more than you talk about them talking about the Messiah. Because they're unlearned. And they're actually leading themselves into destruction following Paul's writing in something that they can't understand. They can't understand that. As simple as it is, he's saying we're free from the law, but now, is the law sin? God forbid. I need the law to know what sin is, what to avoid. This is Revelation 22, verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and dogs, the reason it says dogs are, because how animals are, that's how people live. If you don't keep these commandments, you're like an animal. You're like a pig, like a dog. You'll lick your own ass. You'll hump another male dog. You'll eat whatever the fuck you find, a dirty diaper. You'll eat your vomit, your own vomit back up. That's what he's saying. There's people that are living like this. Because if you don't keep the commandments, you're a dog. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers. And whoremongering is not having multiple wives. That is actually buying prostitutes or porn. And murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. And maketh a lie. So, I just wanted to bring that out for a clear edification of what may cause us to slip out of the upcoming ranks of inheriting the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. But this is a process. Okay, you're not gonna get it overnight. You're not gonna get it over a year. It takes time. You're not just gonna write all the laws down and just every day go over them. No, that's why they're already written down. How the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai wanted them to be written. All right, in the Holy Scriptures, in the King James Version. If you get a 611, good, but a King James Version. And just start to embrace it diligently, every day, all day. Have no more hobbies, the Yahweh hobbies. Your hobbies could be taking the kingdom of power away from you. Because hobbies, that's in fact where you get a lot of this, where you commit adultery. It's because you're over there socializing with another man's wife. Or you go to, like it says, going to revelings. Revelings is a drunken fest. And then adultery, what do you think happens at these bars? What do you think happens at these nightclubs? Girls' night out. That's when the bitch comes home and says she got pregnant, 6 months later. Don't get involved in these. Don't involve yourself. If you could avoid these, avoid them. Funerals, fuck them. Let the dead bury the dead. But other with that, brothers, may you endure. Hopefully this is edifying for you. I pray in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that it was. And hopefully, brothers, that you be edified and strengthens your walk. And may you, brothers, endure. And may you, brothers, remain diligent in this walk of carrying your cross and helping your brothers carry their cross. Shalom.